Alright, so now we're going to attach the propeller to the motor. And there's a couple of ways this is done typically. Do try to buy a coherent propeller to motor combination from a single vendor so that you don't have any problems. There's not a high degree of standardization in the industry, and so I've tried to suggest combos in the book, and certainly the combos in the kit work. So the way this is going to work, I'll just give you the overview, is that this is what's called a prop saver, and it will fit kind of snugly in one end of the prop. It's got two sizes. Just find the one that fits, and then what we do is we're going to attach this to the prop shaft. You may have to screw it out a little bit because those screws are in there. They're acting as set screws, so screw them out. Don't lose them, and they will hopefully. All right, there you go. So you might, it's not particularly high quality manufacturing, so you may have a little bit of aluminum in there you need to push out of the way. So notice that I pushed this down, and also notice that I can't really go any further. That's because the hole in this prop is smaller than the prop shaft itself. Okay, I can't put that prop shaft all the way through. So we're only going to let this. We're only going to let this prop saver go down as far as the prop shaft will allow it. And so once we've done that, then we will have, this will keep a nice tight connection. We'll put a rubber band over this to hold it all together. Okay. Before we do that, though, what I like to do is modify these prop shafts a little bit, because the prop saver tends to spin off when you land and it hits the ground. If the motor's under power, it tends to spin off, and beginners tend to not get off of the throttle quickly enough. So there's a lot of forces around this that are trying to spin that prop saver loose. And so a thing that I like to do is put a flat spot on the prop shaft. So I pick one of these Allen keys. There's two. On this particular motor, there's two set screws, Allen set screws. And I'm going to pick one of them as the location of my flat spot, and I'm going to mark it a little bit on the bell housing, and I'm going to put my a flat spot here, grind it in with this rotary tool. So I'm just going to show you how that goes. You definitely want safety glasses for this. That little guy goes bad and sends out shards. You could easily get something in your eye, so do take care with this. All right, so first thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to put a little mark here. Okay, so now I know where the flat spot is, because when you put the prop saver back on, this can be hard to find. There's two Allen set screws. I don't know which one it would be necessarily. And then what I'm going to do is hold this firmly in my hands, and then try to grind with the edge of the rotary tool a flat spot. And I'm just going to. It's hard for me to do it far away. I usually put this right on top of my chest, but I'm going to try to do it far away. And you can see my hands moving a little too much. So it's probably going to be good enough. And you just want, ouch, it's a little warm. So I just want to do it enough. I don't know if you can see that. I think you can sort of see the little flash of it. It doesn't need to be huge. It just needs to be enough for a place for that screw to sort of set itself. And that's enough. It's just, oh boy. Can you see that? I don't know. Yeah, there you go. So that's all I've done. Let's put in a little bit. You could use a file to do this. You might have to put in a vise or something. I don't know how that would work. I guess here. Don't clamp on it super hard. You don't want to bend this the bell housing. But just get yourself a flat spot. You don't have to do it. It just makes it less likely these things will spin off. Okay, so back to this, getting the prop on there. So the kit props right now, prop savers come with these pathetical rubber bands, which are not going to go into production. Okay, but we're going to still put them on. Okay, so the way you put apply the prop saver is you can you just run the rubber band around the outsides of this and try to get it back on there. You're just trying to attach the prop. There you go. So that's on there. We're going to be taking it off later anyway. But the important bit, well, let's attach it and then we'll talk about what the important bit is. So that's on there. Okay. And I probably should have put some thread lock on there, but I'll try to do it after the fact. All right, so here we go. We're going to tighten it down. Now, when you're tightening screws into something like this, a piece of pretty soft aluminum, you kind of want to get it snug, and then you give it like, God, a 1/16 of a turn further. All right, and then so I got this. I pushed this down as far as I could get it onto the prop shaft. I've left. Notice that there is space between the end of the prop saver and the bell housing, or this extension from the bell housing. That's okay. We don't mind that. We don't want there to be space between the end of the prop saver and the propeller, because that'll make it wobbly and it'll just flop around and vibrate like crazy. And this is the other one that's loose. So I've already placed it, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to back this out. All right, it might go flying. And I'm going to put, so I've got one holding it where I want it to be, and the next one is going to get a little bit of thread lock compound on it. This is a Mercury Adhesives product. Loctite is another one. Just make sure it's releasable. All right, I just put a little blob of that in there. Take that screw, and just screw it in. Now, the way this stuff works is that it sets up in the absence of oxygen, so it only goes when you tighten it. And again, I'm just going to get it snug and then give it a 1/16 of a turn, just a little bit. I don't want to strip the screws. Now that I got that side locked down, I'm going to loosen this one and watch for it to go flying. There we go. Same gig. Put in a little blob of it'll just kind of surface tension up. You can just see it's kind of full, and it doesn't need to be full. It's going to just coat the edges. So I just want the top of it to kind of let the surface tension cover it. Because it's just going on the threads, and then tighten that down in there, take it up to snug, and then a 1/16 of a turn, and that's as far as I'm going to go. All right, and that's how that ended up. All right, so a little bit of extension, and that fits beautifully. All right, just a little bit of shaft, that's as far as it could go. All right, so this is how you do these. I'm going to leave that. The prop doesn't need to go back on right now. Well, actually, let's put it back on because we're going to need to do it for centering the motor mount. So put it back on. You don't need to make it super tight. We're going to take this off before fly time. So we're just trying to get it in there to hold position. Sometimes prop savers come with O-rings, which are just that. They're O-rings that work pretty well for this. You can use anything as a rubber band. I mean, I've used hair holders. I use rubber bands. I've used zip ties. In a tight spot. It's amazing what will work. Okay, so it's back on.